Hello there, welcome back to Cinema Flicks and Music Picks. I'm Davey, your host with the most, the beast with the least. Well, least we can do today is look at Radiance's brand new release of The Bride Wore Black, an adaptation of the novel by William Irish. It's not a real name. So it's a nom de plume, as they say en français. So an adaptation of Cornell Willich's book. I'm giving you your real name, Cornell, don't worry. Which came out in 1968. It's colour, it's 108 minutes long, and that's the boring stuff because the most important part is brilliant. Jeanne Moreau, if you have Truffaut, you must have Moreau. It's part of the guide. Plays the bride, who has her husband slain on her wedding day. So clearly, mistakes were made. Something that you'd think might be a bit of a pulpy start to a film, and it is indeed, because Cornell Willich, or William Irish, was a very pulpy writer. He wrote novels that would become the likes of Rear Window and whatnot. But he gave the novel a rather odd setup where at the end we get a reveal that just couldn't be done in cinema. So Truffaut decided, okay, I can't do that, but I like the gist of it, le gist, and I like the structure of it, but I can't do the twist. It's no spoiler to tell you what the twist can't be, but in the novel you think you're reading it from one person's point of view, and it turns out it's not from that person all along. So there's no way you can do that in cinema if you want to Jeanne Moreau and then reveal it's actually a 50-year-old police detective. So you can't do that in cinema. What you can do, though, is just take the bare bones and turn it into a brilliant, tight, taut thriller, which, although, yep, he's trying to do a Hitchcockian thing, he's trying very much to make something that can appeal to a more international audience, it's still very French. There are, if you had this as a silent film, you would still know it was from the French New Wave, because you have dissolves, you have edits, you have mise en scène that just scream French cinema from the 60s. They absolutely scream it. You will be in no doubt as to what era of filmmaking and from what country you're watching. It just screams it. The restoration itself from Radiance is fantastic. Très fantastique. It's not top notch in places. There are a couple of spots where just the elements aren't 100%, especially in stock footage. And it doesn't say it's in 4K restoration or anything. So fair enough. It's a high def digital transfer, so it's not even 2K. But the film itself is just absolutely top notch filmmaking. So it's Truffaut, for me, at the peak of his talents, if not what you want from a new wave filmmaker. It's still the peak of storytelling talents. And Jeanne Moreau's brilliant. She has a very difficult role in this. She's the bride who, yes, her husband's been gunned down. And after a couple of years, she goes out and she's been working on it and working through, can she forgive? Guess what? No. She's been working out her issues and how she's going to plan it all and tracking the people down responsible. And she has to somehow infiltrate each one of their lives and get them. And just get them. That's essentially the premise of the whole film. There's not really much more under the surface. It's very simple. It's a very simple story, but with a lot of plot underneath it. And in one of the extras, which is a vintage TV spot, hey, motorcycle gangs around here, living in the wild ones. And François Truffaut on the television in 1968 says too many filmmakers these days are putting the filmmaking above the plot and above the story. And he very much avoids that here. Yeah, he's ridiculously talented, of course, but he never lets that get in the way of a good premise. And knowing his rivalry with Monsieur Godard, I can only imagine he is referring to Godard, who by 68 was indeed putting his filmmaking talents above some of his stories. So that is never the case here. This film is a very A to Z type film, but that's not to besmirch it in any way, shape, or form. As I said, very difficult role taken on by Jeanne Moreau. We have to sympathise with her, but we also have to accept that she's very cold. She's dead inside. And we also have to empathise a little bit with the men that she's killing every step of the way. And it's always done in a wonderful fashion. It's never too cheap. Some of them are more likeable than others. Some of them are indeed creeps that you don't mind meeting their end. And it's not even a spoiler to say that, you know, she goes through the list, because that's the premise of the film. It's even on the Obi strip. Tarantino apparently has never seen this. There's so many little nuances. The bride getting her husband slain on the wedding day to open the film, revealing things through flashback only when she gets another kill. So as she goes into kill mode, that's when a little more of the puzzle gets added. You know, why did these people kill her husband, essentially? Is that a mafia thing? Is there something else going on? Was it an accident? Who knows? Well, you will after about 49 minutes. Regardless, you get the sense that it's not going to stop her. She's not looking for reasons. She's looking for vengeance. And there's also, I love this subplot of Catholic guilt going underneath it, but it's never too much, never too much. It doesn't go into that as a whole theme. We just see a couple of moments of it, which kind of set up her character. So we see this kind of 2-year journey of hers through her flashbacks, and we see the flashbacks to the day itself where the husband was slain. It's wonderfully done, and it's not too twisty and turny with time the way that a Chris Nolan can be, where you think, actually, now you're just getting a bit obnoxious. Now you're just starting to piss me off, Chris. No, it's all very easy to pick up, even for an idiot like me. So believe me, you'll go gaga for this. This is just taut, tight, tense, wonderful stuff with performances up and down the cast that are just fantastic and pitched perfectly too. Jeanne Moreau is cold and detached, but when she needs to be a little bit fake to infiltrate somebody's life, she's perfect at doing that too. But just enough to infiltrate their life. She's not giving them any more than she needs to. And it also doesn't go into silly mode where she wears fake noses and wigs and blah, blah, blah. It never goes into all that. Really, one of the notions of the film is that the people responsible for her husband's death should have taken note, because the person they're looking at was hiding in plain sight all along, and they don't know who she is. She was there. Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful thriller. Fantastic stuff from Truffaut, and a great edition from Radiance, limited edition of 3,000. So go through the extras. You get archival interviews with Truffaut and Moreau. French television, obviously very different from UK and American. If it was an American television show from 1968, you can just imagine, what's his name? A guy that always had guests, not Johnny Carson, but the ones where they had all the guests coming out together. But you know the thing, if you were told it was an American talk show from '68, you'd have an image in your head. Certainly not in France. Truffaut's just sitting at his desk while this young lady talks to him, and it's almost like we're watching an interrogation scene in real time. And when Jeanne Moreau is interviewed, she's just lying back on her couch. It's very, very laissez-faire. See, I know all these French terms. She's not wearing a Space 1999 hoodie, unfortunately. But regardless, so it's really interesting to hear, and that's where Truffaut says too many people are concentrating on their filmmaking gifts, but not their storytelling gifts. And Kent Jones, the director of Hitchcock Truffaut, does an appreciation of the film. He goes into the themes, he goes into the weeds a little bit. It's about 12 minutes long. It's pretty fantastic stuff from Kent Jones. My favourite extra here was from Barry Forshaw. Barry does this piece on Cornell Woolwich and talks about his rather extraordinary, awful life. I don't want to say too much about it, but just how miserable his life was. Just awful, absolutely abysmal, and usually because of something he'd done or refused to help himself. You know. Physician, heal thyself? I don't think so. Unfortunately, Cornell was a man called Destruction, it seems. Les Supreme, short film by Truffaut. Do you ever see those BFI releases which have maybe a 8-minute transport film documentary on them and think, I wonder what other people around the world think of those, how possibly British they are, you know, where it'll be a trip to the seaside. Young Timmy here's going to Brighton for the day. Here comes the Clippy. Watch out, Timmy, give him your ticket or you might be thrown off at Colchester. I think, how does that translate to an American audience or a Japanese audience or something? It's a bit like that, because I was sitting there kind of going, this is a very weird film. But it's kind of half documentary, half, you know, half drama, half, I don't know. But it does show some early promise from Truffaut. It's from 58, so it's pretty cool to see him really on the precipice between film critic and filmmaker. And reversible sleeve featuring designs based on original poster and limited edition booklet as we flip through there. The reversible cover is the Americain, which is rather nice, and I love that quote there. The 5 men who killed the groom made one mistake. They should have killed the bride. Although in that case, maybe the husband would have come looking for vengeance and would just have this same situation again. But kill the both of them doesn't have the same ring to it, does it? So I think the poster designers were quite right. And then, as always, from Radiance, your lovely OB strip and some other films available. Although, look, there's Welcome to Dollhouse, which you now know is sold out, isn't it, on limited edition. And some of their other releases, by gosh. The Hotspots, I've seen that before. That's got an insane cast. Don't read the cast list of the Hotspot if you've bought it. Just wait to go, is that? Because is that in it? Trust me. And my favourite release from them so far, The Man in the Roof, which I covered on last month's haul video, which is just wunderbar. Oh, sorry, can't do German. This is a French film. Although the one I'm really looking forward to is really looking forward to, because their schedule just knock it out of the park, is the Franco Nero box set of his mafioso films, Cosa Nostra. But then Messiah of Evil. It'll be interesting to see how they handle something so more. I'm sure all the boutique labels would love a kind of cult horror like that for Halloween season, and yeah, Messiah of Evil's getting that treatment. So so I'll stick a link below to Radiance, and you can, if you haven't already, order it from there. And yeah, folks, if you're having a wedding, watch all the windows. Apart from that, it's the end of the video. It's the end of the video. I'm sorry. That's all I've got for you today. That's all I've got for you. So as usual, stay very safe out there. And you know the drill by now. Love and what's the other thing? Oh yeah, mercy.